I am Fred Ogola. I'm an expert in strategy and decision making. Yesterday, I produced a video entitled The Irrelevance of the President's COVID-19 Communication. And I've gotten a lot of criticism and saying, well, your analysis was great, but what should the President do? So today, I want to give analysis on strategic communication for government on COVID-19. First and foremost, how should the president approach the idea of communicating to Kenyans? Because in the end, when the president mentioned that 2 billion shillings will be given to artists to entertain Kenyans, that became the key message. People ignored the fact that there was some money which was put in healthcare. People ignored other directives he gave. So I want the president and his team to communicate in a way that we avoid the noise and focus on the signal. So when you're communicating around COVID-19, you should focus on the signal. We are talking about COVID-19. We are not talking about artists and the money and the funding they want. So the communication should focus on that. So why should I think that the president is not communicating rightly? Because the president is giving us emotional stories. I know that we like talking about emotional stories. Kenyans, we're gonna win this together. Kenyans, we've overcome greater things in the past. I am sure we are gonna win this. That is enough now. We need to focus to see whether we are actually winning, and we need evidence-based administration from the president and the government to demonstrate that actually we are there. So how should the president approach this? The president should demonstrate the correlation between his interventions and saving life. Because before I said that the key dilemma for any head of state, head of government across the world is whether to focus on saving the economy or life. But in Kenya, we have lost the economy because people are not working. Guys are now starting to beg for money. People are losing jobs. Companies are closing. They cannot pay essential services like internet. People are being laid off, and there's actually a lockdown without announcing the lockdown. So economy is gone for now. We are going to focus on the saving life. I will go to another video tomorrow to explain how economy is gone, but let's focus on saving life. So what is the president supposed to approach this? The measures should be about reducing contacts. And let us know the measures taken. One, curfew has been taken. We've had some things like closing bars, closing restaurants and the rest. But can we have some evidence by demonstrating that how many visits do we have pre those directives and post those directives? Let us have numbers. Public places like restaurants, malls, name it. But also another way to do this, can we also see reduction in the use of transportation? Even if we want to use our African ways by saying, how has public transport use reduced? How has private transport use reduced? Even if you can tell us the reduction in consumption of daily fuel by public or private vehicles, that can actually be able to tell us that we are reducing contacts. The other way to look at that is, how are we reducing new infections? And we need numbers. How are we reducing new infections per day, reported per day? The figure seems to be increasing per day, so that is not given to us clearly, new infection per day report. And the reduction in terms of hospital admissions. How many people are getting to admit in the hospital per day? Are we increasing or are we going lower because of the directives we've given? Then reduction in ICU admission, because that shows critical infection, to help us prepare. We should also talk about the issue of reduction rate in deaths per day. Are we increasing in death rates or are we reducing? Also, we should talk about the increase in the capacity of our healthcare system to handle this pandemic. And here I'll give you some 6 ways to be able to tell us whether we are increasing in capacity in healthcare system or not. One is increase in the number of ICU beds. How many ICU beds did we have pre-COVID and post-COVID? How many number of ventilators are we getting per day? Is it increasing or it is reducing? Another thing is increase in the number of healthcare workers. Are we getting more healthcare workers or not? Just telling us we have allocated X amount of money to get them does not mean they're actually being brought on board. Increase the number of distribution capacity of this equipment required by healthcare workers to save lives. We also need to have numbers or increase the number of healthcare equipment that are required. We also have to look at how we are financing this, because that shows us the economic power we have to be able to overcome this COVID-19 pandemic. In short, what I'm trying to say, we need an evidence-based administration. And there are scientists who can give you the science part of the directive the president is giving and the health impact it is having by healthcare professionals. Listening only to doctors won't help. You need to listen to doctors, but also you need to diagnose and look at what are the risks that are involved. Are we walking a route that we can actually be able to recover, or we are walking a route that we can only know once we get there? So, Mr. President, what I'm looking for is evidence-based administration, not emotional stories and emotional rhetorics. Thank you.